This is Edwin, and you are on Google Plus On Air Hangouts. Today we are talking to Andrew Jenkins. Andrew is the director of the movie Shadow Lurkers. Welcome, Andrew. How are you today?
Great, thanks. Thanks for having me do this.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's talk about before we talk about the movie Shadow Lurkers that you wrote and directed. Let's get to know who Andrew Jenkins is. Who are you? And let us let's talk about your background.
Okay. I'm a commercial director. Do a lot of work for people like Nike, ESPN, BMW, NBC, Universal, and kind of come from the commercial background. And just now, as a new director, trying to make my way into features.
Is that a new thing where commercial directors go from doing the small film or the small screen to the bigger screen? What's that about?
Absolutely. It really has been sort of in the last decade that commercial directors have made the leap into feature films. It was kind of a bit of a barrier up until recently, but because we sort of get to play with all the toys and do so much filmmaking in 30-second increments, it's become more acceptable. For example, you saw Zack Snyder, who made the movie 300 or Sucker Punch. He started off doing a horror flick, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But he came from the commercial background. In fact, oftentimes we bid against each other. So once that barrier is broken, more of us sort of become more acceptable to come into the future world. So here I am.
Oh, interesting, interesting. So are we going to see more directors like you who came from this short film commercial segment?
Yeah, absolutely. It just seems like as sort of the filmmaking process has become more about how to tell a story concisely, more commercial directors are going to make their way over. You've got some few classics that have already been out. For example, David Fincher. He was originally a commercial guy, so he kind of paved the way for most of us. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Well, let's talk about the Shadow Lurkers just for a minute or two. What is the Shadow Lurkers, and what are you doing to this movie that's a little bit different than the other movies that you see on the big screen?
Absolutely. Well, there's sort of two parts to this. One is this short film featurette that we're going to release here soon, and another is the bigger feature concept. It's a thriller horror, and the idea behind Shadow Lurkers is really to kind of go back to basics. So many thrillers and horrors they get so overly complex that you lose your way to just basic fear. There's great classics like Jaws, where everybody can relate to that fear of the water and what lurks beneath, or Poltergeist, where you're afraid of what's in your closet, or that static on TV. Well, I wanted to make a feature that was sort of back to those basics. And every single one of us, man, woman, child, no matter what the age, at some point has been afraid in their bed in the middle of the night of some shadow on their wall. And I wanted to explore the idea of what is it we're afraid of? What is it that we're afraid might happen? And that's kind of the basic premise for Shadow Lurkers.
I'm looking really forward to that whole, going back to being afraid of the movie because of the movie and not because of the different special effects.
Exactly. And the project we're doing right now, this sort of small featurette, is a different animal. It's sort of an experiment, really. And there's those of us as filmmakers who are trying to break into the bigger feature world. So this thing that we're going to release, and the reason I call it a thing is there's not really a precedent for it. There's short films and there's trailers that people are used to seeing. This is sort of a hybrid in between. It's sort of a short film trailer that's designed to tease the idea of what this film could look like, might sound like, feel like, really give everybody from audience to studios a preview of what it could be. And hopefully we can get it made.
Awesome. And when can people start watching the video?
I believe we're going to release the Shadow Lurkers featurette on January 4th, the night of the lunar eclipse, which sort of ties into some concepts that are in the film itself of what happens with the eclipses, and is that maybe the bridge between light and dark, and maybe a bit of a portal for shadows.
Oh, great. And why don't you hold on to that thought? And what we're going to do now is, we're going to go to the Google Plus community and ask some of the different plussers what they think about the whole lunar eclipse and the Mayan calendar and anything else they might have about Shadow Lurkers. Is that cool?
Very cool. Look forward to it.
Great, great, great. Well, thank you, Andrew, and thank you for watching the making of Shadow Lurkers, the movie. For more information, check out the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Shadow Lurkers movie. We'll see you at the at our next Google Plus Hangout, and we'll see you at the movies.
Very cool.